calling all golfers, stop using your shoulders in the driver swing. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, do consider hitting that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. So what do we mean by don't turn the shoulders in the golf swing? Because that sounds preposterous, it sounds like it can never work. Surely you have to get those shoulders working in order to make sure you can generate club head speed, square that club face up, and generally hit more fairways. But in actual fact, what we see a lot of the time here is golfers that really struggle when it comes to working the lower body. The lower body is the engine room, the lower body is where you pick up club head speed, the lower body is where you actually create the sequence to hit much better, longer drives. How do I do that? It's okay understanding that. It's okay understanding we have to work in a sequence from the ground up. And so by that, I mean, when we're up at the top of the backswing here, we have to reverse the sequence of the backswing. So the backswing is actually taken away with the club, then the arms, then the shoulders, and the torso, then the lower body moves last. Now to start the downswing, the lower body actually moves first. So we get those legs and hips moving, then we get the torso moving, then we get the shoulders moving, then the arms moving, then the shaft, then finally the club head to square that up. Now that is what's called a great sequence to help you hit longer drives, using your bigger muscles, using a lot more rotation than just turning the shoulders. Because if we were to just turn the shoulders in the driver swing, that is what it would look like. And that is very similar to what we see a lot of when playing in pro-ams, when teaching you guys down the range, and when seeing people who actually try to hit the ball further than maybe they could do normally. You see, when a lot of people try and hit the ball further, they think straight away bigger muscles, biceps, shoulders, all the kind of things that you maybe would train in the gym, rather than rotational muscles, rather than turning against the upper body with the lower body, storing more energy there and then releasing that on the way down. You see, if I were to take that club away properly here, get the club working away with the shoulders, then separate on the way back, so I've got much more separation here to be able to turn on the way down, this is how I'm going to create a lot more power, this is how I'm going to create a little bit more lag, and this is how I can get the correct impact factors that I want to make sure I'm going to hit up on that golf ball with a little bit less dynamic loft to help get a ball flight that is a lot stronger, the ball launch is a lot higher, hopefully with a lower spin, and that should generally help you hit longer drives, help you hit straighter drives, and help you get good at golf.
So great points there as always from James, guys. And remember, if you are looking to improve yourself, if you want to do online lessons or in-person lessons here at Waterfront, please do drop us an email on the Get Good at Golf email below. So we need to think about, what do we see? So we're obviously saying don't use your shoulders, but what do we see and why do we see people struggle with this? Well, the first thing that we start to see is obviously people get the driver, it's the club they want to hit the furthest, they want to outdrive the playing partners, and we start to see grip gets a little bit tight. And one of the biggest things we see is that they start to lift up and out of their angles. So shoulders haven't turned, they've just lifted up. So I've used everything to lift up, and then from here I've got to get back into some kind of angles. How can I sequence from there? I can't sequence, it's going to be a lot of timing. And we often see a lot of golfers, and think, is this you? When they finish their swings, they've lifted up, they've hit it. This is very much what we see from a lot of middle-aged golfers. Feet are still planted exactly where they are, chest is pointing straight towards the golf swing machine here, and I've used my hands and arms. That's not where the speed is, that's not where we're going to generate as much as possible. So how do I get out of that? Because we need a drill to be able to start to understand what we are doing wrong and how to sequence correctly. So what we want to do is get a club, like an iron, like a low lofted iron, something like a pitching wedge, then maybe go up to an 8 iron until you get this sequencing better. So once I've got into this position where we're in our normal posture, nice and strong posture, and again, if you're struggling with your posture, guys, there's plenty of videos here at Get Good at Golf that's going to help you get into the right position to be able to make this swing. Once we're into that solid position, we want to bring our feet together and we're going to do the step drill. So you'll see in this, Padraig Harrington is one of the people who's a big advocate of this, and he's one of the longest hitters, and he's on the seniors tour now, so still competing with the guys on the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour, especially with distance. But once your feet are together, we want to start practicing now how, if I take the club away, I'm really getting my lower body, I'm getting transition whilst I'm going into that backswing. I then turn, get to the top of the backswing, and because my step has already got the lower body going, I can now start to get the club down into impact, this right arm nicely tucked into my side, and start to get some forward shaft lean and some pressure onto that golf ball. So if I do that over the golf ball, we take our normal setup, get the ball position correct to start with, bring the feet together and the club back, and then as I take this club away, we want to step back to where we would be with our normal setup. So do that a few times to practice that move, and then once you're comfortable, take it away. And you'll see there, I can get through to a nice balanced finish. Weight is on my left, my right foot is off. You'll see the golf on the bottom of the Puma shoes, and we can do that with an iron nicely. Once we've done it with an iron and we're comfortable with doing that, you'll start to see your irons are going a little bit, you'll see that your irons are going a little bit longer, they're launching a little bit lower because we're getting that shaft lean, and you'll also start to see less curvature, but you'll see I'm in balance there. Once we're comfortable with that, we can build up and start to do that with a driver and start to get you hitting longer, straighter drives.
Slow that down a lot more. We can really start to see how your lower body clears out in the way for the downswing. Look at that, loaded up, left hip starts moving around, then we get that sequence moving, and the last thing that hits is the club head.
It is, so we get the speed out into that club head, so you'll start to see you'll generate more club head speed, which will, as a result, get you hitting the ball further and straighter with more compression, and as a result, as you see this move on screen, it will help you get good at golf.
You ripped that one as well, didn't you?
It was flushed.